Hey Spencer, this video is showing a technique that is shown in one of Thomas Whittleback's videos. Now he uses an actual piece of geometry, but I think Spencer, you were getting at the point that he was doing it on a plane 3D like this, yeah? I don't think he was, and I wouldn't do it on a plane like this and then Boolean away. I would do it on a rectangle because of the fact that it's only got one side. So it's only got one side to this, so we need some meat, you know, and then he uses a rectangle to Boolean away. You can do it on here, but I use flat planes if I'm doing something like maybe create an alpha. So if I was doing something like that, then I might come down here and just grab the dot to create an alpha. I wouldn't do it on a flat plane, so I don't know what that's all about. So I'm going to show you what I would do, because you said you wanted a kind of foolproof technique. So this is what I do. So that's the plane there, but I'm just going to append in a cube. Okay, this is easier. So I'm going to get rid of this top one. So I've got a cube here. Yeah, I've just put in here. If we look at it, you can see it's a cube. Now the first thing I want to do is make it a cube because it's not evenly divided up here. So let's go down. Once you've got it in there, let's go to initialize and then go to cube. There we go. So we've got a cube. Now I'm going to press Control W to make it one poly group. Okay, that's what I always do. And then I'm going to subdivide it up. But before I subdivide it up, let's just get this to be a nice pattern to work on. So I'm just going to make a little square piece like this. As I make it longer, let's make it longer. Actually, sorry, I'll just keep it as it is because I've got even polygons through this through this piece. So let's just do it like this. Right, let's go now to the geometry tab and divide. So I'm going to turn smooth off and I'm going to divide this up. Now this is why you asked for a foolproof technique, so this is what I'm doing here. So what I do is I divide it up until the point where it's nice and clean. So if I go to my clay tubes and I just start to draw, that's not very clean. In fact, it's because I got that on. Yeah, that's not very clean. So I want to divide it up more. Let's divide it up. That's pretty clean, you know. Let's divide it up one more time. Now, depending on your system, you might not be able to go as high as me or whatever. So now I've done that, I'm going to take this and I'm going to duplicate it out. And you're going to see why later. And with this piece, I'm just going to scale it slightly bigger than the one I've got. You can see I've scaled it slightly bigger. You see that? Here we go. Like that. And I'm going to put this just on the surface. So it's just hidden. So we're going to call this a subtraction block. Subtraction. Hit enter. I'm going to go back to the original ring base, which I'll name a ring base. Funny enough. And we're going to go back to this, and now we're going to use a bit of sculpting, so you can do what the hell you like. So I'm going to do kind of Whittleback type thing. So let's just, by the way, I've got lazy mouse turned on. I've got stroke, lazy mouse, and I've got my clay tubes. It's just my standard clay tubes. I might take the focal shift a little bit so that the transitions are a little bit smoother. And what I'm going to do, sorry guys, I need to turn on the symmetry here. So we're going to do a nice little design. I'm not going to go too mad here. I've got this problem with my mouse just deciding to turn off. Do that. Press 1. Do that a few times just to get the height. And I'm going to do this. Do something like this. Boom. Yep, so you can work that up. You can even dynamesh it if you want, guys, you know. This is not the important with what we're trying to do. So what you can also do is you want to clean it up a bit. You can use the ZBrush. Now again, I've shown, in fact I've even shown this technique to a degree. in the course. So what I'll do is I'll half this in here. This is to clean this up. Now you don't have to do this. We could easily boolean this without doing it. In fact, let me show you before I do the cleanup. So I'm showing you an example within an example. So let me duplicate this one up and turn it off. So carrying on to Whittleback, you've done your design, blah blah blah. You've got your little block in place. Just make sure that you put it in the right position so that it's, turn it on, so that you're getting all the detail that you need from your design. So that's, say that, yeah, there we go, that's good. We are now going to create a folder. Now this is where I think confusion is, because maybe I don't show folder booleans, but it's the same thing. I'll show you anyway. Let's create a new folder, call it boolean, and we'll shove this one in here, and we'll hit this and put it into subtractive mode. Make sure live boolean is on. Okay, right, let's go back to draw mode, and now let's just do a boolean of this. So if I click this little gear icon, I can come down here and go boolean folder, and as if by magic it will create the extraction within here. So if I turn this off now, I now have this piece. Now be careful here, because notice this is the same resolution as the top. The reason, that is the reason why I duplicated the square off. You want to keep them roughly the same resolution, or the squares looking the same basically. Otherwise you can get problems when you do the next phase, which Whittleback shows, which is basically to spin this around on itself. So here we go, let's just do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the base where this is. I'm going to press the Alt key so it unlocks this. I'm going to move it up here, and then I'm going to let go of it. I'm going to press this little gear icon, and then we're going to do a bend arc on this. I'm going to take this and we're going to bend it down 180 degrees. Okay, so this has now formed the ring. Now we can also pull this in like this as well. So that's what you can do. Once you've done that and you're happy with it, it's not set at the moment, you can then go in here and click accept, like this. Boom. Okay, and now you have your ring. So I think that's what you were trying to get at. Yeah, that is covered in the course actually, how to do all that stuff. Again, I haven't done the massive key techniques to for you guys to find it easily, but it is actually in there a few times. I show how to do that, but that's basically how to do that ring. So going back with this piece that I had, I'm going to open this Boolean folder up. Let me just delete this one out and show you with this one, because I've created this Boolean down here. I'll just put this at the top just so it's out of the way. We'll go back to this piece. Now I was talking to you about cleanup. So what I tend to do with this to clean it up, because it's very mucky, is you can actually go down and you can use the, let me just turn this one off. So we've just got this. Okay. So we're going to go down to here, and I'm going to half this and leave this on default, so it's dynamics, all just usual. I'm going to hit this to ZBrush it. So what this is going to do is it's now going to look at the geometry and it's going to follow the flow of the geometry, rather than a cube which is subdivided evenly and then you've just pulled bits out. It gives a pixelated or a ragged edge. Now what we're doing with ZBrush is we're getting it to look at the geometry, averaging it out and following the flow of whatever we've sculpted in the model. So you can see what's happened there, but if we look at the flow, it's actually flowing around the model pieces, which is you know, exactly what we want. So you can get a cleaner finish. So I could even subdivide this again. It would give me a cleaner edge flow. So I'm halving the amount of polygons each time I'm doing this, which is a way of cleaning the geometry up. So this is all right if you're working very organically with a model. This is a good way to work, because you can get nice, well, cleaner results in without doing too much work. So now if I turn this and I take this and I take this edge and I just use a little bit of move it up, and I'll just come in here and I'll tell it to do it again. So I'm going to do the same this time. I'm just going to hit the ZBrush, and it'll, because I've pulled it up a bit more, it's a bit more flow. So you've got a little bit of, you know, playing around to do with it. And there we go. Come on, finish. There. Right, so now because I'm on much lower, because remember I was 2.5 million, I'm on 520,000, I can subdivide this. So watch what happens when I subdivide it. So I'm adding geometry in here. So I can press Control D, or you can come down to geometry, subdivide here, and you're going to see that it will clean itself up. Am I on the right one? Yeah. So you can use, it's easier for you to use things like smoothing. So if I press Control D again, and come up to about subdivision level 4, I can then use these subdivision levels to clean this up. Yeah, I know I'm rushing through this to show you the technique, but hopefully you can understand what I'm kind of getting at. Then of course you can go in with your brushes. You know, you can use your H polish brush and you can start to flatten and polish areas out and give it a look, whatever look you want. But now you've done that, you've got a flowing topology around the model. So now what you can do is, let me just delete higher, delete lower, and now you can do that Boolean. So I can go in here, make sure live Boolean's turned on, put this into subtractive. So there we go. And I'm going to move that cube a little bit because I've got a little bit of better. I can go into this now and I can go Boolean folder, and I'm going to get the same result. It's going to Boolean this out, and then I can apply that action to spin it around. Now that's what I watched of the Whittleback video, so hopefully that's resolved the issue. That's what you were talking about. So now I can go into that. I can just go set my rotation point, roughly it's about there, and go into bend arc, grab this little green one, boop, the other way around, and use this to bring it back in. So I'm making it a thicker ring, and there you go, you got it. So guys, also, like, I can still adjust this because I haven't set it yet. So I can set it to half, I can set it to there, but when I've actually finished with it and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how I want it, then we're done. So that is how you do it. That's 2 rings there, more grainy ring and more smoothy ring, all just span around. Of course then you can still go ahead and use your mandrel to again subtract it away as well. So Spencer, I think that's what you were looking for. Hopefully that's going to help you. His videos, I think, are 6 hours long or something, so I'm sure he's going into detail about certain other things and stuff. Now obviously I can't do a 6-hour video for you, but that's the bit you're asking about, the plane. I do not think that he uses a plane. I think it's more he creates an asset. I don't even think he uses a cube. I don't know, I haven't seen the beginning part because it's not on there kind of thing. So I think he actually just uses a piece like a, you know, let me just pen something. He just makes something up like this and pretend this is a ring, you know, pretend this is a kind of pattern that he's done. I don't know, he's done something like that, and then maybe he's subdivided it and used something like this over the top. I don't know, and then pressing one a few times, and then he's just gone in and just taken this bit in here and he's turned that on so it's cut through. Let me just reduce this down. Turn that off, and like that, something like that. Then he's just done a Boolean folder, Boolean folder, and then he's got this. So then you can go into this, bend arc, as you do in a bit, and we're done. Yeah. So you can do it with objects, you can do it with multiple objects or whatever you want to do it with. It's a very flexible system. So I think that's what he's kind of showing you. And yeah, that's it really. Of course, you know, to work out your distance, I do show you, you can use pi to work out the length and thickness of the ring. So that's again in the course. So guys, so Spencer, this is it done for you. Hopefully it'll help some of the other guys out as well. Although, like I said, I do sort of show these techniques in the course. I know there's a lot to the course, so it's easy to forget and to grab that information. That's hence the reason that I want to do this key techniques course that backs up the jewelry course, because I know it's a massive course and it's really hard to locate the content, so I need to do something about that. Don't worry guys, I'm working on it, but it's going to take me a long time. Okay, see you later.